Today I'm going to be breaking down a $7,000 AI infrastructure I'm currently in the process of selling to a Germany-based marketing agency. It consists of 3 different workflows: an automated client onboarding system, an automated Facebook ad setup, and an automated client reporting system. I haven't made the sale yet, however, things are looking very promising. I got on a discovery call with the CEO of this business a few days ago, and they're signing about 10 new clients each month, and he said that he spends close to 20 hours a week manually onboarding each client and manually setting up their ads, and he doesn't even have a client reporting process in place. So he admitted to me that if he wants to scale his business to the next level, those processes will absolutely need to exist, and that's where I come into the picture. Inside my agency, I have a 2-call process. The first is a discovery call where I get to understand the client's needs as well as the SOPs they would like to automate, and the second one is a demo call where I show them a visual diagram of how AI agents or AI infrastructure is going to be implemented to solve that specific problem. And this diagram is what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video. Okay, so let's first make the distinction between AI agents and AI infrastructure, because you don't really want to be selling AI agents. What you want to be doing instead, and I'm coming from a place of experience, I've worked with over 50 businesses. I've also helped a bunch of students inside my school build $10,000, $20,000 per month agencies, and this is what I actually seen in the real world. What you want to be selling instead is AI infrastructure. Now, what is the difference? There is a subtle difference. An AI infrastructure is pretty much a bundle that consists of different workflows, different automations, or different AI agents that each one solves a distinct problem that your client is facing. And the truth is, the reason you want to go about it this way, instead of selling one little workflow at a time for like $500 or $1,000 a pop, is because you are able to introduce a lot more value to your client, and you're also able to charge a lot more money. This is how you get to charge $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. I've even seen people who close a $30,000 or $50,000 a year automation deal or AI infrastructure deal. This is the way you want to be going about it, because in reality, just one of these workflows, it can't really change a business that much. Where everything comes to life is where you introduce a lot of different little workflows that all work together, and now you automate an entire department of a business, right? So let's zoom in a little bit, guys. I want to make sure you see everything clearly. So this is workflow number 1. This is a client onboarding automation. You've probably seen a bunch of those on YouTube before. However, here it's without the hype, because it's for a real project. So this is how actually things are supposed to work in the real world. You can see every time my client signs a new client, he's going to be filling up, or he's going to be submitting an internal N8N form where he provides all the information about his client. And what this allows us to do is just manually create the workflow while having some, data that we can actually work with. The first action that this workflow is going to take is, of course, create the Google folder for each client with the appropriate name and all that. And the second action is going to be sending the client onboarding form to the client via email. Now, this is the same onboarding form that my client is currently sending to his clients. The only difference is he's doing it manually. And here is pretty much where he wants his clients to put all the information that are necessary to deliver the service, like what is your ad budget, your website, your target market, all those things. Upload some images that you want to use inside the ads. All those things are going to be sent to his client using this onboarding form. If his client does not submit this onboarding form, it will resend it after 24 hours just to make sure that things are moving quickly and efficiently. When he does submit it, then we're going to take all this information, upload it to inside like a document or a sheet inside this Google folder that we created before. And then here is where it gets even more interesting, because in some cases my clients might also request a website inside that onboarding form. And if they do request a website, then the system is going to take this line of logic. Just to make my clients' work and life a little easier, we're going to be automatically generating the copy for the website, the headers, the descriptions, the call to actions and all that. And then we're going to be storing it inside the Google Drive. So when he does go ahead to start develop the website, he at least has some reference that he can actually pull out that document and see, okay, this goes here, this goes there. And this is going to be created or generated by a trained LLM that we trained or we're going to be training on real estate websites. So, we get the best results possible. If his client does not request a website, then it would of course just go directly to the CRM, update all the client's information there just so we keep everything tracked. And then in the end, it's going to notify my client via email that, hey, this client was onboarded. Here is all the things that were done. Here is a link to his folder you can check out. And it will also send him a link of the form that is necessary to start the second workflow. Now, what is the second workflow, guys? The second workflow is where we automatically set up the ad creatives and the ad campaigns inside the Meta platform. If you didn't know that already, Meta offers APIs, so you can actually manage your entire Facebook ad campaigns or everything that you do inside Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp directly through N8N or Make.com or Zapier. And by the way, if you're wondering, we're going to be using N8N primarily for most of these workflows, unless we need to somehow integrate another platform for whatever reason. But in any case, guys, so as I said, he's going to be receiving an email with the form that is necessary to execute workflow number 2. And inside that form, he's going to be asked to provide even more specific information about how the ads are supposed to be set up. And this form is something that my client is going to be filling out, by the way, not his client. So it's going to put like the client details, the ad creative images that his client provided in the onboarding form. He's going to choose what kind of templates we're going to be using in order to generate the ad creatives for him. Because here, when I say ad creatives, I mean like the basic images, like faces or images of buildings and all that. It will then add the ad copy for each like creative, the campaign details, the targeting, and all that. Now, let me just mention something real quick. I could have very easily combined workflow number 1 and workflow number 2. However, when you're working with a real business, guys, you don't just have to think about functionality. That's one of the important aspects that your workflows need to have, of course. But you also need to be thinking about scalability. You also need to be thinking about efficiency. You also need to be thinking about control of the system. Because if workflow number 2 was combined with workflow number 1, then my client wouldn't really be able to do this workflow number 2 with his existing clients. So he would only be able to do it with new clients. But now we are giving him that flexibility. But anyways, so let's zoom in a little bit. And action number 1 is going to be creating the specific ad creatives that are going to be used inside each ad set on his Meta campaigns. For this one, we're going to be using a platform called templated.io. It's very similar to Canva, but it has seamless API and it's much easier to use. So we're going to have a template or multiple templates for that matter of how different ad creatives are supposed to look like, and then we're going to be taking the base images that his client uploads inside that onboarding form, and based on those we're going to be populating new ad creatives. So yeah, those creatives are going to be generated with the appropriate styling and text on them. Then those creatives will be manually uploaded or automatically uploaded to the folder inside Google Drive, and then we start to set up the Meta campaign, so all the targeting, the campaigns, the ad sets, the budgeting, all that. And Meta does offer API on that, so it's going to be very easy to do. And then at the end of this, it's going to send an email notification to my client. Hey, all of the creatives, the targeting, everything is set up. Just make sure you go ahead and manually review them before you publish them. So the system is not going to be automatically publishing the ad campaigns. It's just going to be setting them up. And then we have some sort of human oversight over the entire system, just so we can avoid mistakes. So the true power of AI automations and AI agents and workflows like this, guys, is not that they will completely eliminate the need for manual work. They will just do a bunch of the manual repetitive labor. And then as a human, what you're going to have to do is just reevaluate or review all the steps that took place and make sure everything is appropriate. So now let's go to workflow number 3, which is a client reporting automation that is going to be reporting the performance of each campaign to each client and also the company. This is something, as I said in the beginning, that my client doesn't really have in place right now. So this is going to be introducing a lot of value for him. This is going to be running on a scheduled trigger. So every 24 hours, my client wants to be receiving reports of how each campaign is doing for each client. So the first step, the first action here is get all the information from the database. So this is going to be a database where we store like the client's ad account ID, the pixel ID and all that, which kind of makes the rest of the workflow function. Then we get the client ad performance from Meta. So we make an API call to Meta in order to retrieve all the necessary information from the client's ad performance. Then we make an API call to the pixel in order to retrieve all the information from there. We generate a structured report based on that data. And of course, that data can be like specific data, time-bound data, and whatnot. And then we generate an action item list with different improvements that can actually be made based on that data. One of the things that these LLMs are really good at is analyzing data and taking some sort of insight from them. So we're going to be training an LLM on meta ads, and it's going to be able to give you insights on based on specific data. So you just give it a data of an ad campaign that you're running, and it's going to be able to tell you, hey, this creative is not performing well, change it. This target audience is doing worse than the other one, change it to this. So this alone is going to be very, very valuable. It will then upload the report to the client's Google folder, and it will send the report to my client as well as the insights. So he knows, okay, this is the performance for yesterday or for this client's campaign. Here are some insights. Maybe we can go ahead with the team, change some stuff on the campaign. And then at the end, it's only going to be sending to the client, is only going to be sending the report. I hope this makes sense, guys. This is for like presentational purposes because I was obviously showing this to a business owner who is not very technical. So there was no point in actually like breaking down each node inside N8N to help him understand it. It will be too technical for him and he'll probably end up being confused. So yeah, my point here is that here you see like 5 different nodes, but in reality, when it comes to building this workflow in N8N, it might end up being 20 or 30 nodes. God knows how many can be. But there's no point in going over that because it's just going to confuse your client, and also it's a lot more work from your end up front because we only build after we got paid. Now here is what are some of the benefits that my client is going to get from implementing these 3 workflows. He's going to save an extra 20 hours a week minimum from admin work. He's going to have more time to make more money, and his operations are just going to be much smoother, which means that he can now focus on higher ROI activities and hopefully make more money. These are all the requirements that we're going to be needing from my client because I'm not going to be charging him a recurring fee or a retainer. We're going to be building everything on his accounts. And then here are the deliverables. So we're going to be getting on an onboarding call with him. It's going to take us 10 to 14 days to build this. We offer lifetime WhatsApp support and unlimited revisions simply because we know that we're actually going to be able to deliver on this project. And from here, there are many more systems that we can integrate into this client's business. So it's a win-win scenario. So we feel comfortable offering like a lot of extra support to my client without asking for anything in return. And then another unusual thing that I added here, which probably many of you haven't seen on YouTube, because most people on YouTube, guys, that you see on the space, they don't know anything about monetizing their technical skills. They're just good at building shit, but they don't actually work with real businesses. I do. So, any automation that you build, guys, it's a good practice to also include like a user manual for your client, just so he gets to understand how to actually use this system, because a lot of these systems can end up being very complex and non-technical people can have a hard time understanding how to properly operate it. So this is like piloting a plane, right? You need to have some sort of training in order to be able to get the most value out of this system. Now, with that said, guys, if you're somebody who is very fascinated with AI automations and you want to make a lot of money actually selling them to businesses just like I'm doing, I highly encourage you to go ahead and check out my Automator Premium community. You can see all the wins here: first client, best community, 5K deal, progress in day one, why you need to attend the group calls, sign my first AI client. It just goes on and on, guys. We have so many testimonials. If I go here to this about page, you can see them all here and here. I highly recommend you check it out. It's going to be the first link in the description. Watch this short video so you can understand what exactly you're getting yourself into. And if it feels like something it can actually help you, I'll be glad to see you inside, maybe meet you on a live call, and we're going to be taking it from there. With all that being said, if you enjoyed this video, leave me a like, subscribe to the channel because these videos take a lot of work to do. Also share it with some of your friends if you have people around you who are also interested in building AI automations and making money with AI. These times that we're currently going through, guys, are very transformative, and we are riding the wave. So you want to make sure you surround yourself with people like that. So share this video with them, and yeah, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks.